I'm Liz Rust, chair of the board of Concord Prison Outreach.
And my name is Sam Williams, the Executive Director for Concord Prison Outreach.
We're here this chilly December morning in front of MCI Concord, which recently closed in June of 2024. But our story starts 150 years before, when the Concord Reformatory was opened in 1878. It wasn't but 2 months after the prison opened that the first person, Thomas Ford, was buried in the prison cemetery just down the way. And that's the basis of our story.
The purpose of this video is to really lift up the lives of the 218 men that were buried here, to also lift up the important relationship that the town of Concord has had with the MCI Concord.
When in 1875 Massachusetts was seeking a location for a new state prison, Concord offered the old Cumming estate at the edge of West Concord, which perhaps could offer more humane incarceration conditions while helping to lift West Concord from its enormous poverty. Concord State Prison opened in May 1878 with 700 inmates and 40 prison guards.
It's both a privilege and an honor to just talk a little bit about the Naming the Unnamed project and how it came about. 3 years ago, this project was kind of brought to my attention through a great friend, Patty Roos.
My name is Patty Roos. I started noticing and thinking about this cemetery, which is housed right on the grounds of MCI Concord, when I was honored to serve as the doctor for the men housed in that facility. While I was working there, I had the privilege of going into the cemetery. It's really quite an interesting and very poignant setting where you walk from the prison up the little hill and you see these gravestones which are embedded in the ground. And they're not like any gravestones you see if you go into any other cemetery, because they just have numbers. They don't have anybody's name. They don't tell you who's buried in there. So it really struck me as a very special place.
Marker 183, Alonzo Bell, died in 1929. Marker 184, Arthur Boudreau, died in 1930. Marker 185, Joseph Belansky, died in 1931 from Poland.
When someone ends up dying in prison and is not connected to their families or relatives, the state ends up becoming responsible for them.
I'm standing in front of Dee's Funeral Home in Concord, Massachusetts. This is a family-owned business established in 1868 and played a critical role in the Concord Reformatory Cemetery, handling all the burials. They've prepared a statement that I'll read for you today, starting with "Everyone deserves a decent disposition. No matter the financial circumstances, whether remains are claimed or unclaimed, or any wrongdoing in a person's life, upon death, each person is entitled to dignity and respect in the form of final method of disposition or resting place."
The folks that are buried in that Concord Prison Cemetery didn't have the privilege of a family or a friend to come in and take their body. The first thing that happened really was that in 2020, I realized that the next phase of expansion for the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail was going to go right by that prison cemetery. It was going to just right abut that. And to me, the fact that this public trail was going to go right by the cemetery, that was really a golden opportunity. So I called the Concord Historical Society and I contacted people at the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. But it wasn't really until I contacted Concord Prison Outreach that there was some action.
Concord Prison Outreach was invited in to honor and lift up the men buried at the Reformatory Cemetery. We've been around in Concord as a local nonprofit for over 50 years. Started as a small group of concerned and caring citizens through faith congregations of 3 churches. And the individual groups got together and formed the ministry task force, and that grew in and formed Concord Prison Outreach. And through those years, volunteers came together, volunteered in the prison, and hosted a number of programs for the benefit of the men incarcerated. It grew and grew over time, and the model is through the faith communities and for volunteers, and that's how we do our work.
Life in prison is a very dark, very lonely, and sometimes scary place. I know it firsthand because I spent 14 years of my life in prison. And I'm fortunate today to now be leading an organization that allows me to go back into the prison, be an example, be a role model, and also express the possibilities that I didn't realize existed in my life.
My name is Joe Palumbo. I work here in the town of Concord as a local historical interpreter and as a volunteer in the community as we're working hard to help tell all the full stories of our town. One of the most important things about this project is the honoring of the men who are interred in the cemetery, and all the work that goes into this project is really helping the community tell a more full and authentic story of the town itself. For many years, Concord was sort of trapped in this remembered mythological history that only dealt with Minutemen and muskets or famous revolutionary folk, all very important, but not really the full story of everyone who makes up this community. Black, Indigenous, people of color, women, immigrants, everyone who played a part in building the community we have today. And the elevation of the work of this cemetery is one other step forward at Concord really becoming a place that tells it a full and authentic story as we become a full and authentic community of the 21st century.
We felt like this was a cemetery in Concord that deserved at least the public attention, the acknowledgement. And through working with Liz and Patty, we started to really think creatively, and then we started to build collaboration and community. We had an opportunity to work closely with Mass College of Art and a group of students who helped to create some visual representation.
My name is Lisa Kennedy. I'm an associate professor at the Massachusetts College of Art and Design, and I've been working on naming the unnamed for 2 years with the Concord Prison Outreach Group. We started with not knowing exactly how we'd collaborate, and after one of the first few initial meetings, at the end of the meeting, Sam mentioned the unnamed graves at the Concord Prison Cemetery, and after that, the project took off quickly.
Hello, my name is Ellie DeMauro. I'm the volunteer and program manager for Concord Prison Outreach. The work that was done by Lisa Kennedy's class was instrumental in moving the project forward. They began to compile research based on very little information that had been provided to us, really just names and a vague timeline of when they were born and when they died, and also the prisons that they were incarcerated at. From there, they were able to do the very meticulous work of researching each of these individuals, their names, their stories, using vital records from various sources. They were able to compile biographical information that began to tell more of the stories of those that were buried there, and began to paint a picture of what society and the criminal justice system looked like at the time.
We envisioned doing a book and illustrated artwork, and the artwork became as unique as the people themselves because so many different artists were involved in creating it. It gave a visual, it gave a voice to everybody in that it's buried there. It kind of brought a little bit of them back to life.
The book is one of several products that have come from working on the Naming the Unnamed project. It's both an honor and a privilege. My name is Sam Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Concord Prison Outreach. But this phase is a really important one because we're able to really showcase the entire process that we've been a part of.
Hi everybody, I'm Liz Rust, and I'm thrilled to be here. And there are really 7 pieces of the project. Cemetery improvements. So part of our improvements involved restoring the cross. So it started looking like it did on the left. And they came and then they sandblasted it and then they sealed it. So it's really been restored greatly now.
We were able to restore the cross with some of our partners, and you can see it here. And to free up the view from Route 2, we cleared out a number of trees that blocked it. We've even seen people pull over to the side of Route 2 and get out their cameras or their phones So we're really pleased with the opening up of the view of the cross, which really sits on top of the hill here. Through the whole time, we've had so many site visits, spent days here with the crew, and the Department of Corrections has been with us right at our side the whole time, and we look forward to future partnerships together to continue to improve the site.
We're excited that at the end of this project, all of the data, all of the information that we've captured is going to be housed both in the Concord Library, what they call the Special Archives, and it's going to be housed on CPO's website.
Yes, my name is Anka Lawson. I'm the Curator of Special Collections here at the Concord Public Library. I'm thrilled. The library is honored to be part of this project in allowing the library and the Concord community to tell a more complete and more complex story of the incarcerated men who lived and sometimes found their final resting place here in Concord.
Hi, I'm Tim Kness, and I'm a member of the BI Studio team who was responsible for bringing to life the Naming the Unnamed project to the Concord Prison Outreach website. So some of the elements that BI Studio helped to bring to light were the vision of bringing a name to each of these individuals in a way that the user now can come to the site, searching this database, searching this interactive map, associating a plot to a name, as well as the artwork that was created by the organization, and tying it all together so that the world now has an opportunity to see and hear and understand who these individuals are.
A lot of stories that are really interesting about this cemetery, and one that really spoke to me is of a man who came up from Virginia to work on probably most likely a whaling ship or sailing out of the New England area. That is a very typical story of a self-emancipated person. There's one of the black soldiers in one of the Navy divisions from the Civil War. So you have these amazing heroes that are located here, and that again is helping people get a full picture of all the people who participated in our history.
Abraham H. Williams. Abraham H. Williams, also known as Abram, was a black man born in 1838 to Peter and Nancy Williams in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Mr. Taylor married Susan Jane McDowell on September 7, 1882.
The White House, whose name has also appeared in records as Bernhard Weidhaus.
John Hudson West was born on September 15th, 1894 in British Columbia, Canada.
I've always believed that history informs us in terms of patterns, and by looking at the lives of those that are buried here, we really begin to see how society treats the most vulnerable and marginalized, and how those patterns can inform us to have a more just and compassionate outlook on the criminal justice system and also the way that we treat community members as a whole.
We also wanted to make sure that the town of Concord, the Middlesex County, and the state of Massachusetts understood that these men were still important, they were still worthy, their voices and their stories should still be named. We hope that this project continues to grow, continues to really spread the message of hope.
One of the next phases of the project includes having a contemplative seating area built out next to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. This will include a bench that is made from reclaimed ship timbers and an interpretive panel overlooking the cemetery.
It's been an amazing opportunity partnering with so many people. We've had a number of events where we brought people together, and it's a public education tool to really promote social justice, social awareness.
We couldn't have done this project or continue to do this project without the input from all of the people that have participated with all their tireless and dedicated efforts.
We are always seeking dedicated, interested individuals who want to work with us. I think this project is one that will continue to just spread hope, encouragement, and awareness around what it means to support people when they are in transition in their lives.